So due to the nature of the front yard being very small and a fairly decent sized roof, it really necessitated some creative solutions for managing water. There's previously a lot of pooling that would happen on the driveway, so they were looking for a permeable driveway solution. I suggested a few different options, and what we ended up going with is a product we've used in the past, but it really worked out great for this particular situation. And it's called permeable concrete. So the bottom section is typical permeable concrete that you might see. It's more common in places like Florida that see a lot of really heavy rain events, and they use this product so you can get rid of water very quickly. California, you don't see it quite as much, but it does work well in a lot of situations where having the water drain off is really critical. But as you can see, this isn't the most aesthetically pleasing look. So we're working with a company called Pretty Pervious, and they have this top dressing that they've come up with, which is basically a smaller aggregate. So you don't get this kind of Rice Krispie treat look you see at the bottom here. This is a smaller aggregate, which is a little more softer on the eye, looks a little more visually appealing, but still drains just as well as the larger aggregate at the bottom. So here we are on the other side of the driveway. It's a great opportunity to kind of see how the different layers work together. This is our top layer. This is the only part you're ever gonna actually see it, but this is a good way before we cover everything up. You can see the second layer. So this is 5 inches of larger aggregate permeable concrete. And then below that, there's actually 5 inches of 3/4 inch drain rock. And so between the 5 inches of permeable concrete, 5 inches of drain rock, you've got about a foot of material that can absorb that water. Think of it as basically being a giant French drain that you can drive onto. Maybe when everything's done, we'll put a hose on here and you can really see how the water just kind of flows right through it. We're actually gonna do one more coat of stain once we're done kind of making a mess and putting our plants in. And another way we maximize the permeability of the space was doing Hollywood strips or drive strips. So the tires just drive on these 2 little sections, and we're gonna be putting some plants here in the middle. The plants we've chosen is this Carapia. Carapia is very low growing, very low water, very, very low maintenance. I mean, literally you could almost never cut this and it'll be perfectly fine. We have our subsurface drip irrigation, so they'll get adequate water, but they'll require very little water going forward, just a little bit to get established. And that way you have some nice greenery in between the drive strips, but it won't get in the way of the cars. We'll allow for water to fill in. So it was really a great solution for this. Can't wait to see the plants fill in. It's gonna look fantastic over time. So here we are in front of the finished permeable concrete driveway. We're gonna do a little demonstration to show you the difference between how this absorbs water and how this concrete does not absorb water. So we're gonna mimic a rain event. And here you can see how it soaks in right here. And over here you can see how it just runs off and just goes into the sidewalk area. It's a pretty fascinating way to compare the two. So as you can see, the permeable option compared to the regular concrete is a pretty dramatic difference in how much water flows off the site. So giving a pretty clear difference in the 2 types of materials.